Can you speak?
Hello.
Yes, okay, I can hear you. Are we good to start?
You can start now.
Okay, great. Just want maybe to look at the participants. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I mean, thank you everybody for attending. I think most of the people I believe are from NUS or from other startups. Just want to give you first a quick introduction. Quick introduction about myself. Quick introduction maybe about Newells. Okay. Let me share the screen. So I mean, you can find it obviously on our website. Okay. So I mostly set up this company on my own with some former colleagues 3.5 years ago. Okay. So the idea was to first leverage on our strengths, which was our background, which was basically working and doing project for financial institutions. So B2B instead of B2C, which was not, I would say, our main background. Okay. And the other one was to focus on what we knew, where we are good at, where we were having fun, which was how can we help democratize wealth management? How can we bring the best practices from Europe, from Singapore to all the markets around? Okay, so that led to Newells. I mean, after, you know, there's been 3 years plus, 3.5 years already. Obviously, there are things that work, there are things that didn't work. Okay. I mean, today, and also, you know, there's this small period, I would say, COVID, which didn't help because the original strategy of the company was basically mostly to focus on prospect and markets outside of Singapore. So somehow about a year ago, we had to refocus on Singapore markets and the needs here. Okay, but I would say quite happy on where we are today. So we are say quite satisfied customers. We've reached at least a certain size. We have crossed the crisis. We break even. Okay, and now we need to plan, I would say, for the next phase, which is hopefully the growth. We say, you know, KL announcement yesterday. I mean, this means like potentially, you know, we can go back to visit our potential clients in KL also. Okay, so that's the first step. Even through, you know, KL has never been our first target market outside of Singapore. Okay, so I think that's about it. I mean, in terms of we do solutions that are used by bank staff or that are used post login, which I can't really show you. And we do also solutions which are used pre-login, or we call also web solutions. So the fondsingapore.com, you know, which is a joint initiative of IMAS, Life Insurance Association, and CPF. It's I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but there'll be a big marketing campaign run in Singapore about this platform for all the retail investors in Singapore. Okay, so we can talk about that. Now, I think a bit more than a month ago, we've launched also some kind of similar, I mean, based on the same software, some customized version for Endowus. I mean, you may have heard of Endowus, I'm sure. And that's, I would say, at least for Singapore market, that's two of the flagship clients, and then there are others we can talk about it. Okay. I think that's a first introduction. Okay. Maybe if yeah, I think that's about it. So today, the company, we have 12, 13 people. We split across Singapore and Vietnam. So we're still on a small setup, but we can talk about, you know, my philosophy on how to grow a company, because everybody reads the news and see all the crazy 50 million, 100 million, 1 billion, blah, blah, blah. But that's a bit far from the reality of 99% of the startups. Okay. So I think we can talk about that. So I'll just stop sharing. Okay. And yeah, so I think that's a quick introduction. Okay, about the space we are in, and happy to take questions or to get, you know, you guys. I think you can also share the video, and we can start to get kind of an open conversation, I would say, about the topic that might be of your interest.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, just in case I mispronounce your name, Loic, is it? Loic or
Loic, perfect. Yeah.
Loic. Okay, sorry, I'm Taiju.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sort of a student.
Mm.
You
Yes, you look like.
just finishing the FinTech course in the NUS.
Okay.
A couple of weeks left. It's interesting because what you are doing is something sort of some part of a jigsaw that is a piece of the jigsaw that I'm missing in my idea. So just to maybe share a little bit, I'm just looking to set up a platform for retail investors or the uninvested or the underinvested market in ASEAN. So
yeah, I mean, we can talk. I would say, you know, I think if I go in terms of the learning, so I arrived in Singapore almost 20 years ago. I think next month is going to be 20 years ago.
Okay. That's a long time.
Yeah. So that's all my friends are a bit older and are a bit more difficult to go out now. But no, so I mean, in terms of learning, I think if you look, there's all this flurry. I think there's kind of two schools. There is B2C, you don't have choice, but in B2B, you can choose to set up your company and bootstrap, okay? You can choose to raise from the beginning, I would say, or you can choose to raise to really accelerate, okay? So I think at the moment, what happened in B2B is, from globalization, in the past 18 months, there's been relocalization. I would say most of the financial institutions in Singapore work with vendor in Singapore. Most of the one in Hong Kong work with vendor in Hong Kong. Most of the one in Indonesia, they work with vendor in Indonesia. Of course, it was already like this in the past, but it really accelerated, okay? So, of course, this is temporary, hopefully, this will reopen, okay? But that's one of the first, I would say, the first learning. So there's no point of raising a lot of money because it's going to be very, very, very difficult to sign new clients without seeing them face to face, okay? Of course, if you're IBM, Accenture, I mean, that's a different story. If you already have 50 or 100 clients, they're very happy to be the next one, okay? But we're talking about setting up a business, okay? The other things is because I chose to bootstrap and to basically self-finance the company without having, a few million from my parents. So I think it's a very kind of a different model, okay? So my philosophy is, first sign a client, then hire, okay? Which, most of the startup would do the opposite, okay? And the other kind of philosophy is never develop product without having the first client. So we do prototypes, okay? We do demos, we do, but clearly we will never develop the solution if we don't have at least one first client or hopefully even two, okay? So, I mean, this is good in theory. Of course, practically is very difficult. Client can take 6 to 12 months to make a decision, or you think they're going to start next week and then it takes 6 to 12 months finally for them to decide and start. But that's the recipe that I'm trying to follow, okay? So that means, we're not like, there's been all this startup hiring 100 people, but having basically revenue to pay 10, okay? So it's very opposite. So we have 10 plus people, but we have revenue to pay 10, okay? So that's I mean, it gives us, that's also why we crossed, I would say, the crisis. Most of our competitors, they've done 1, 2, 3 years and they're gone, okay? Or they had to completely change. One of them is going B2C, the other one is trying the next fashion stuff, okay? So you can surf, you can say, okay, this is chatbot, this is AI, this is crypto. You can try to surf, but that's not how you're going to build a sustainable business, okay? So we're not in, I mean, this is wealth management, but we're not in kind of gambling, okay? We are about step-by-step setting up a business. And I would say the first things is have happy clients, okay? So deliver over, okay, above expectations, okay? That's the best way because, then your clients will talk to other people or the people working for your clients will change job. This is very fashion. I mean, there's of course a lot of turnover in Singapore at the moment. Okay, so I think this is the approach. Of course, it's slow. Okay, we're not doing 500% growth every year and blah blah blah. Okay, but I've seen too many of our competitors that So they would, the more they lose money, the more they raise money. The more they raise money, the more they lose money. The more they lose, I mean, this is like a never-ending thing. So I don't know how it's going to end. I hope for them they'll find a way, okay, before it blow up. But this is clearly not the approach that we're having. So we're not short term, we're really mid and long term, okay? And we want to build on customers, success, unique solution. So that's one. Second one is about complexity. You know, when we started, we've developed, you know, very fancy solutions, okay? And what we found out is we knew it, but we had to kind of put more attention on delivering, I would call it base solution, okay? A lot of things that we do, I mean, seriously, I don't understand why 95% of the financial institution already use this kind of tool since 3 or 5 years. But that's the reality of the market. For whatever reason, they are not there, okay? So when we talk about digital transformation, when we talk about improving the customer experience, improving productivity, etc., there's so many things that have not been done. So everybody talk about AI, but you know, they're not doing 1 + 1 today, okay? So before or what if, I would say, okay? So that's the first thing. So refocusing on, you know, getting the basics right, okay? Before selling the crazy solution that has very, very little chance to be run in production. So you're gonna become a POC, proof of concept machine, but you know, basically it will not lead to any clients, okay? So that's the other things, okay? We still do fancy things, and that's also important for the team, you know, to keep innovating, okay? But I would say the reason why we make money and we grow is because we deliver better, okay, faster, more modern solutions than what the financial institution have been using. Sometimes even we replace, I would say, Excel, okay, Excel or any kind of tool, okay? So I think that's the key also. Of course, there is a lot of fashion, there's a lot of PR, okay? But if you get into that space, it's very likely the project is going to be stopped after 3 months, 6 months, as soon as the fashion vanished, okay? So getting into it doesn't mean it's boring, you know, we do also fancy things, but you know, this is much more pragmatic. It's like, what does the client need? What does the client don't have, okay? What can we reasonably deliver in 2 to 3 months, okay? There's no point of selling the big picture and flying to the moon because they are not able to do it for many reasons, in terms of organizations, in terms of a little bit of compliance, okay? So that's the other learnings, okay? So focus on, I mean, my philosophy is always, what are you gonna buy in 6 months? What kind of solution, Mr. Bank, Mr. Insurance, Mr. whatever, are you gonna buy in 6 to 12 months? Okay, then I try to anticipate, see what are our strengths, what we have, what we don't have, and go and try to provide those solutions. Not what they may be buying in 3 to 5 years, looking at the crystal ball, which will be very difficult. Okay, and let's not forget we're in Asia. Okay, so we are not in Europe, we're not in US. US, there are thousands of financial institutions. In Europe, there are hundreds. Okay, this is much easier. They didn't have this nice travel restriction. I mean, they've been able to travel, you know, since at least a year ago. Okay, so somehow, you know, they have restarted. Of course, the business is slightly slower, it's slightly more difficult, but it's not like here. Okay, here we are still in, I would say, in how do you call it, ice age. Okay, so we need to reopen, and so the markets will become bigger the day we can target more than one country. Okay. So that's the other key.
Yeah, nice. I think after listening to be frank, I'm new to the market of investment of FinTech. In fact, it's actually just this year since I took up the course at the NUS, and you asked me about funding or all these things. It's basically close to zero. But I have talked to a few the past couple of months, and I think what you have presented is really great. It's really what I had in mind. I hope so. I mean, it sounds great in part of knowledge, and maybe in technology part, you all have good tech backends, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, what you have to do, so you have to focus on the end user, Okay.
Yes.
So that's clear. Okay. I mean, you can human-centered design. Okay, that's the one. Also, I think, if you need to focus in terms of execution, you can't please everybody because you're gonna have something, kind of half-cooked everywhere. Okay.
Right.
So I think this is, I mean, if I look at this kind of solution, that's not the only one that we do. You have, I would say, the card view, which is typically the view for mobile, for tablet. Okay, or you can also have it, on desktop. You have so-called list view, okay, where you get all the list of product. You can filter. You have, I would say, like $6. You have all sort of calculators, okay. There's only one here. The other one is still in test mode by the clients. But the idea is to help, basically you selecting, so improving your knowledge or your awareness about certain topics, whether it's risk, whether it's diversification, whether it's ESG and sustainability, okay, and being able to guide you. Again, there's always, depending on the countries, but in Singapore, there's a clear difference between advisory and non-advisory according to regulation. Okay, so I mean, if I take this one, which is even nicer, so we can even compare. So I'll take product with enough history. Okay.
Sorry, these two are your clients and now.
Yeah, this is our platform. I mean, we have more. I mean, I can show you. We have Stone Chart. We have others, but these are the latest one, the two latest one. Yeah.
Nice.
Singapore. Okay. So you would be able to set, site to site comparisons, look at the geographical allocation to be able to compare, I mean, the proportion of China. You see China and Taiwan have been put in color. The whole.
You have it in mobile as well? Like
yeah, you guys can connect. I mean, EndOS, you go to EndOS and you select in their menu investment fund list. Okay.
Native app?
Native app, not yet for them. Okay. So that's
yeah.
But this is the web app, and we also do a progressive web app. I would say so something like native. Okay. And then for each product, you'll be able to go into what we call product details, product profile. Okay. See the information. You can compare also to the. It's a bit slow, the server this morning. Okay.
No.
Compared to. Yeah, so they're fixing it. I can see the SMS in parallel. Okay, so compared to index, see the information around ESG, whichever the key documentations. Yeah, so there's some issue with data apparently. Okay. Anyway,
and do you have a solution for, let's say, cross-border payments without?
So we are not in payment. Again, we are on wealth. So what we have in our space, we have cross-border restrictions. Okay, cross-border selling, marketing, and selling rules. Okay, especially for private banking. Okay, that's a space we're looking at, but we're looking at with partners. I think the whole idea is to integrate all these rules in our front end. Okay. Yeah, sure. It's really a special business, I would say. Okay.
Definitely. I think to start off, we have to work in a locality first, Singapore, Malaysia, in Vietnam or Indonesia. So
I think what's interesting about, if we look at Singapore market, not B2B but B2C. Okay, so you had, I think 4 years ago, it was when StashAway was launched. Okay, a bit more than 4 years ago. They were the first one. I mean, the beginning has been, I would say, slow, but it's not a bad thing, huh? But now I would say with Saif, with EndOS, and even others. Okay, so you see the market is getting very dynamic. Okay, and this is good because it means
it's a matter of time
to be a real competition. I mean, this is good for the customer. I mean, if you look at EndOS and their fee model, okay, for example. And this is good also for us as provider because, we used to go to see banks and they'd say, okay, we can do better than what you have. We can deliver faster and cheaper. And they would say, I don't care. I have 70 people. I can deliver something medium quality in 3 years. Okay. Okay, fine. That's your freedom. Okay.
Yeah.
And now we start to come to, I mean, I need to deliver above, the quality has to be one of the top of the market. So we're talking about quality of UX, we're talking about loading time, we're talking about all these things, which make the difference. It's not just about checking the boxes, but it is really, put yourself in the shoes of the users what is not agreeable. So you can't have something, you know, like I was showing you earlier, loading in more than 1 or 2 seconds. That's definitely not so. So when you have 9,000 product, it needs to load as fast. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so that's the interesting things about the Singapore market. It's getting more dynamic. There can still be more, but there's more competition on the market already, and hopefully with these new digital banks, they're gonna enter, I would say, wealth maybe in the second phase. Okay, so we can hope a little bit more competitions, and that's not, you know, usually the one, you know, looking at the 3-4 years kind of timeline. So then we have a card to play in our side with our strengths, which is quality of technology, quality of UX, time to market, and somehow cost also, because, you know, we have our engineers split across Singapore and Vietnam. So compared, you know, to a bank that would do, you know, all the cost in-house in Singapore, obviously will be a bit cheaper.
Sorry, you referred to Vietnam a couple of times. This is because the manpower.
Yeah, we have I would say we have 2/3 of our engineer in Ho Chi Minh City.
Okay, it's your tech support there.
Yeah, so we are in Amoy Street, so we are in CBD. Okay, so we have, I would say, 1/3 of the engineer in the CBD, and the rest are in Ho Chi Minh. And there's various reasons for that. I mean, it used to be easy to do a daily flight to go there.
I understand. Yeah, I used to
really near shore. Okay.
I used to travel there a lot because my business involves flying there. I go there almost every month.
Yeah. But the market, of course, is also very dynamic there. I mean, if
super. That is a huge market there. I want to tap on to my.
Yeah, that's maybe something also that I was thinking lately. You know, one of the things that have changed. You would meet the banks in Singapore 2 or 3 years ago. They say, "Why should I work with you? Because I can hire plenty of people on the market." Okay, but things have changed. You know, I mean, the turnover for IT resources of bank is super huge. Okay, most of them, you know, when they work on the system, you know, most of the team has less than 1 year experience working on the system. Okay, so and now most of the key guys, you know, are leaving to all this e-commerce, crypto, whatever kind of fashion things, you know, and they are all right. I mean, if there are better conditions, and so I think this is also a shift, you know, on the bank side. Okay, so you see some of them like DBS, you know, having huge center in India. Others are probably not there yet. But again, you know, it's how do I, you know, this strategy of saying it's okay, there's unlimited IT resources and they are cheap, is hopefully going to change, or has already started to change. Okay, so that's I would say the other one that I see.
Yeah, I mean, can I ask a couple of questions in case I misunderstood again? I probably did not catch everything. So your company, New Web, you are a solution provider, software solutions.
Yeah, technology. We provide technology.
Nothing to do with funding, nothing to do with regulatory stuff, just tech support.
Yeah, I mean, there's consulting around tech, you know, but yeah, we're not an auditor for sure.
Yeah,
we're not a bunch of consultants specialized in compliance. Yeah.
Yeah, so at least now I understand and I know how to put up all together, because definitely I need a solution provider. I need a regulatory part. I need a couple of other things. Like I say, parts of the jigsaw that are still missing that I need. So it's great. Yeah, nice really to be able to get input from you. Like,
please.
It's been great.
Any question from the rest of the audience, and then we can keep chit-chatting. I think you can mute. I know I need to. Yeah. I think everybody is free. There is no. No. Well, okay. Okay. No, so what are you really trying to do?
Oh, me?
Yes, just trying to understand.
Yeah, all right. I'm just it's still all just an idea.
Sure.
It's going into the real stuff. We are doing our algorithmic trading. My objective is to start a fund.
Yep.
Investment fund first locally.
Mm.
Eventually, hopefully, I can bring it to another market. So, but my objective is not what is being done traditionally. They go to the banker, and I mean the bank clients, then they ask their clients, the deposit holders, the fixed deposit holders, hey, you want to invest in this? No, I'm not going into that direction.
Mm.
But my idea is to welcome on that. But I want to bring it to like I said, not invested and uninvested market. And this is using the software solution where the web app, but the most important is actually the mobile native app, because my idea is ASEAN. And in preparation, I don't know what will come in the ASEAN common market in 25. I don't know what is going to come up.
Mm.
I might as well do something to prepare it. If I don't have the cross-border thing, I will localize. So my app, instead of just for Singapore will have an app, Malaysia will have one, Vietnam will have one, and Indonesia, blah, blah,
Mm.
So, and yeah, a bit similar to what your solution have, like you've shown just now, and Davos, the fund Singapore. So with that, a retail investor don't need to be any high net worth or anybody. Anyone, they have let's say they have a salary of $1,000, so every month they just put $100 into it.
Mm.
This is something, just a gist of the idea.
But just to understand, you're gonna, whether it's a fund or an ETF or whatever, you're gonna launch a product or you're gonna launch services, kind of direct to clients?
First is a product, because using our investment portfolios, of course, that is already our need. We have private funding for that portion. To grow our fund and establish the fund before we list it up somewhere officially, and we start trading it. And the digitalization of it, if it's a bit far-fetched, but I'm going to create NFTs of the fund, so they can be accessed.
Yeah, they sound like using NFT to get virtual units, or fine.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the objective, to create the cross-border market. You don't need any permission, I think. Some markets, it's still not very clear. I still don't know about the other countries. Whether NFT transactions are regulated, how is it regulated? I still not too sure.
Well, this will change. This would probably evolve, also in the
right, correct. So since the art scene is already quite open, so I don't think there is much obstacles to this.
And why do you want to use NFT?
NFT, so you can cross border immediately. You are not trading into the local regulatory jurisdiction.
Okay, got it. So
yeah, that's the idea, of course. And of course, an NFT, why it is they are all stored in the blockchain and it's immutable. So a customer or a client that purchase it, and they know that it is secured and it's theirs.
Okay, this one I understand. The first one is okay. This may change, obviously. Okay. Okay, technically wise, you can do one app. Just to answer to your previous questions. And there's all this. Now we work a lot around what we call micro front ends. Okay, so basically we split the app into mini apps, that work together, I would say. So you can have some of the mini apps that are different per markets according to local regulation or whatever. So that would be the approach. Right. Of course, for the client, they will look at one app, but of course, behind the scene, this can be different flavors, I would say. But yeah, okay, that's good. I think we are almost done. Okay. Happy to see in real life, maybe in 2 weeks when things open a little bit more. Okay. And if there is maybe one last question, so we're good. Good to go.
Anyone else? So if not, then if you don't mind, can we?
Sure, I'll message. I'll put my details. Just a second. Yeah. Tech, and mobile app. I mean, obviously, if we are not thousands of people, so if you use our website, you can basically reach to me.
All right, sure.
So I'm the one, if you write at info@, or if I'm the one basically receiving the information. So that's, even if you call on the website, it's basically redirecting to my phone. So,
all right.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Wishing you a nice day and a nice FinTech week. Thank you. Bye-bye. FinTech Festival, sorry. Cheers.